Good morning, folks. So today we're going to be reading Genesis chapter 26. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday so far. Yesterday I read 25 and accidentally labeled it 26, so I changed that when I noticed this morning. So uh, if you were wondering, well, that's why. So, now there was a famine in the land, besides the previous famine in Abraham's time, and Isaac went to Abimelech, king of the Philistines, in Gerar. The Lord appeared to Isaac and said, "Do not go down to Egypt. Live in the land where I tell you to live. Stay in this land for a while, and I will be with you, and I will bless you. For to you and your descendants I will give all these lands, and will confirm the oath I swore to your father Abraham. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and I will give them all these lands, and through your offspring all nations on earth will be blessed, because Abraham obeyed me and did everything I required of him, keeping my commands, my decrees, and my instructions." So Isaac stayed in Gerar. 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 When the men of that place asked him about his wife, he said, "She is my sister," because he was afraid to say, "She is my wife," he thought. "The men of this place might kill me on account of Rebekah, because she is so beautiful." When Isaac had been there a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked down from a window and saw Isaac caressing his wife Rebekah. So Abimelech summoned Isaac and said, "She is really your wife. Why did you say she is my sister?" Isaac answered him, "Because I thought I might lose my life on account of her." Then Abimelech said, "What is this you have done to us? One of the men might well have slept with your wife, and you would have brought guilt upon us." So Abimelech gave orders to all the people, "Anyone who harms this man or his wife shall surely be put to death." Isaac planted crops in the land, and the same year reaped 100-fold, because the Lord blessed him. The man became rich, and his wealth continued to grow until he became very wealthy. He had so many flocks and herds and servants that the Philistines envied him. So all the wells that his father's servants had dug in the time of his father Abraham, the Philistines stopped up, filling them with earth. Then Abimelech said to Isaac, "Move away from us. You have become too powerful for us." So Isaac moved away from there and encamped in the valley of Gerar, where he settled. Isaac reopened the wells that had been dug in the time of his father Abraham, which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham died, and he gave them the same names his father had given them. Isaac's servants dug in the valley and discovered a well of fresh water there. But the herders of Gerar quarreled with those of Isaac and said, "The water is ours." So he named that well Esek, because they disputed with him. Then they dug another well, but they quarreled over that one also, so he named it Sitnah. He moved on from there and dug another well, and no one quarreled over it. He named it Rehoboth, saying, "Now the Lord has given us room, and we will flourish in the land." From there he went to Beersheba. That night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham." Isaac built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. There he pitched his tent, and there his servants dug a well. Meanwhile, Abimelech had come to him from Gerar with Ahuzeth, his personal adviser, and Phicol, the commander of his forces. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me, since you were hostile to me and sent me away?" They answered, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you. So we said, there ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty with you, that you will do us no harm, just as we did no harm you, but always treated you well, and sent you away peacefully. And now you are blessed by the Lord." Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early the next morning the men swore an oath to each other. Then Isaac sent them on their way, and they went away peacefully. That day Isaac's servants came to him and told him about the well they had dug. They said, "We found water." He called it Sheba, and to this day the name of the town has been Beersheba. Okay, so just some notes here on the names of these wells. It looks like Essek means dispute, Sitnah means opposition, and Rehoboth means room. So Sheba can mean oath or seven. And Beersheba can mean well of the oath and well of the seven, or up seven. So it's kind of interesting. That seven and oath would have the same word attached to them. And I'm trying to think of why that might be. And probably have to go back and visit the flood and look there to see if there was anything that stuck out. And to the chapter where God makes a covenant with Abraham. But off the top of my head, nothing really comes to mind. So it's interesting here. Abimelech clearly has not forgotten what happened with Abraham, and when he had told Abimelech that Sarah was his sister, and is clearly trying to make sure he stays secure here. And then it's funny to me that Isaac does the same thing that Abraham had done in the previous journeys through this land, and tells everybody that his wife is his sister. And that's, I guess, like father, like son. But again, definitely not really the truth here, huh? And it's not even half true in the way it was with Abraham. It's completely false. So it's interesting that that's here. And yeah. And then let's see, what else? There was something else that stood out to me. So he reaped 100-fold. God blessed him. And because he was so wealthy, he met opposition. There was something else that I wanted to mention that when I first read, or as I was reading, struck me, but I cannot remember what it is. So I guess we'll move on. And this morning I think we have time for another chapter, so I'll start 27. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beeri the Hittite, and also Basemath, the daughter of Elon the Hittite. They were a source of grief to Isaac and Rebekah. Oh, actually, I guess that was part of the last chapter, but I'm through it now. When Isaac was old and his eyes were so weak he could no longer see, he called for Esau, his older son, and said to him, "My son." "Here I am," he answered. Isaac said, "I am now an old man, and I don't know the day of my death. Now then, get your equipment, your quiver, and your bow, and go out to the open country to hunt some wild game for me. Prepare me the kind of tasty food I like, and bring it to me to eat, so that I may give you my blessing before I die." Now Rebekah was listening as Isaac spoke to his son Esau. When Esau left for the open country to hunt game and bring it back, Rebekah said to her son, "Look, I overheard your father say to your brother Esau, 'Bring me some game and prepare me some tasty food to eat, so that I might give you my blessing in the presence of the Lord before I die.' Now, my son, listen carefully, do what I tell you. Go out to the flock and bring me 2 choice young goats, so I can prepare some tasty food for your father, just the way he likes it. Then take it to your father to eat, so that he may give you his blessing before he dies." Jacob said to Rebekah his mother, "But my brother Esau is a hairy man, while I have smooth skin. What if my father touches me? I would appear to be tricking him, and would bring down a curse on myself rather than a blessing." His mother said to him, "My son, let the curse fall on me. Just do what I say. Go and get them for me." So he went and got them, brought them to his mother, and she prepared some tasty food, just the way her father liked it. His father liked it. Then Rebekah took the best clothes of Esau, her older son, which she had in the house, and put them on her younger son, Jacob. She also covered his hands and the smooth part of his neck with goatskin. Then she handed her son Jacob the tasty food and bread she had made. He went to his father and said, "My father." "Yes, my son," he answered. "Who is it?" Jacob said to his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I have done as you have told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." Isaac asked his son, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord gave me success," he replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come near, so I can touch you, my son, to know whether you really are my son Esau or not." Jacob went close to his father Isaac, who touched him and said, "The voice is the voice of Jacob, but the hands are the hands of Esau." He did not recognize him, for his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau. So he proceeded to bless him. "Are you really my son Esau?" he asked. "I am," he replied. Then he said, "My son, bring me some of your game to eat, so that I may give you my blessing." Jacob brought it to him, and he ate, and he brought some wine, and he drank. Then his father Isaac said to him, "Come here, my son, and kiss me." So he went to him and kissed him. When Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he blessed him and said, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of a field the Lord has blessed. May God give you heaven's dew and earth's riches, an abundance of grain and new wine. May nations serve you, and people bow down to you. Be lord of your brothers, and may the sons of your mother bow down to you. May those who curse you be cursed, and those who bless you be blessed." After Isaac finished blessing him, and Jacob had scarcely left his father's presence, his brother Esau came in from hunting. He too prepared some tasty food and brought it to his father. Then he said to him, "My father, please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may give me your blessing." His father Isaac asked him, "Who are you?" "I am your son," he answered, "your firstborn Esau." Isaac trembled violently and said, "Who was it then that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it just before you came and blessed him, and indeed he will be blessed." When Isaac heard his father's words, he burst out with a loud and bitter cry and said to his father, "Bless me too, father." But he said, "Your brother came deceitfully and took your blessing." Esau said, "Isn't he rightly named Jacob? This is the second time he has taken advantage of me. He took my birthright, and now he's taken my blessing." Then he asked, "Haven't you reserved any blessing for me?" Isaac answered Esau, "I have made him lord over you, and I have made all his relatives his servants, and I have sustained him with grain and new wine. So what can I possibly do for you, my son?" Esau said to his father, "Do you only have one blessing, my father? Bless me too, my father." Then Esau wept aloud. His father Isaac answered him, "Your dwelling will be away from the earth's riches, away from the dew of heaven above. You will live by the sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you grow restless, you will throw his yoke from off your neck." Esau held a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. He said to himself, "The days of mourning for my father are near. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." When Rebekah was told what her older son Esau had said, she sent for her younger son Jacob and said to him, "Your brother Esau is planning to avenge himself by killing you. Now then, my son, do what I say. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay with him for a while until your brother's fury subsides. When your brother is no longer angry with you and forgets what you did to him, I'll send word for you to come back here one day, or come back from there. Why should I lose both of you in one day?" Then Rebekah said to Isaac, "I'm disgusted with living because of these Hittite women. If Jacob takes a wife from among the women of this land, from Hittite women like these, my life will not be worth living." Okay, that's some strong statements there at the end there. All right. Huh. Disgusted with Hittite women. Okay. So this is kind of interesting because Jacob clearly deceives everybody here. This is clearly a lie. And we see this. This is going down the generations here, this tendency to not tell the truth. And God is blessing them regardless. And I think that certainly, points to the fact that grace abounds. And I remember what it was that I was going to say regarding chapter 26. Excuse me, my voice is kind of froggy. In chapter 26, there we go. It mentioned that all the nations would be blessed through Abraham's seed. Excuse me. And we see that mentioned later by Paul. And he makes a specific point on that passage. In this version, it says offspring, but, I think it's intended to be seed there. And so, sorry, excuse me, I'm sure that's very loud. So, Jacob deceives both his father and his brother, and he takes advantage of the situation. His mother coaxes him into it, which is kind of interesting here. And that's just kind of interesting too. Now, it's interesting too that we see that Isaac blesses Jacob instead of Esau. And then later we're going to see that same kind of pattern play out with the sons of Joseph. So with Ephraim and Manasseh, and when they're blessed by Jacob, we see that he's going to kind of repeat this pattern here of blessing the younger over the older. But it's going to happen intentionally, whereas this happened through deception. And that's kind of an interesting thing. I'm not sure why the distinction is made, why it keeps happening in different ways. But what we do know is that we keep seeing this blessing of the younger over the older. And I think this is to draw a parallel between the first covenant and the new covenant, and that the blessing really comes through the new covenant and not the first. Through the first, salvation is very, very difficult to reach. But through the second, the world is blessed. And so, if there was anything really important to bring from this, that's what I think I see kind of being foreshadowed here, is that though it's by ill-gotten means, the blessing goes to the latter and not the former. And in that same way, we also inherit our blessing. It is ill-gotten in a way. Our iniquity is the reason for Christ's death. That's what makes it necessary. And it's an unreasonable and unjust death. And it's much worse than a small lie like this. I mean, I guess you wouldn't say this is small, but it's a much greater lie than this. It puts an innocent man to death. And it's by that death and by that suffering that we find ourselves righteous in the eyes of God and blessed. And so that blessing and that pattern is an important pattern. And it's going to become one that the whole of our salvation rests on. So, anyway, that's Genesis 27. I hope that you guys have a wonderful Sunday. I hope you guys get to church and enjoy that. If that's not something you can do or not something you do, then I hope that you get to spend time alone, just reading God's Word, and also time with your family, your loved ones. Because God is love. So, all right.